watching famous games on YouTube.
So it looks like we just got the news that the Liz Truss, the Prime Minister of England, resigned. A lot of turmoil going on in England, a lot to do with that energy situation, with them possibly not having enough energy to get through the winter. So we'll see what happens. It looks like at this point there's not going to be a general election, and the markets don't seem to have reacted very much. We saw the NASDAQ futures dip a little bit, but not a whole lot of reaction from the market so far. Let's take a look at futures overnight, and we can see kind of more volatile of an overnight session than we have been having lately. You can see starting off with down and then kind of a rally back to being up quite a bit. I think it was up over 100 points and then a sell-off now, then to unched, and now we're down about 40 points. I haven't been online for a little bit. I did have got an acting gig for a couple of days, which is really fun. Of course, can't really talk about it because of NDAs and whatnot, but always fun to do something that's a challenge and kind of out of your wheelhouse, which for me that was. I'm not really an actor, so it's fun to play one on in front of the camera from time to time. So the last couple weeks, really a roller coaster ride in SQ, and I was long and gave up a little bit, but recently I've been kind of making a little bit of a comeback as I've just been sort of playing, as the video title announces, the ebb and flow of things. Let's take a look at a chart. I'm thinking I'm going to go to a 20-day chart here, and let me get out of the way. And you can see the stock really just these rips up and down, back and forth. But these are like $5 moves here. All of a sudden, you've got $5, $5 down, $5 up, $5 down, $5 up. As this stock does seem to be looking for a bottom here. You can see over the course of this 20-day chart here, you can see it has kind of been trading in the same area for a little bit here. And maybe this is the stock finding a bottom with this low of 51.16 here. If we back the chart up a little bit more, you can see that this has come way off the highs, right? So let's go to a 3-year chart. You can see we got up to 289 here, and then now all the way back to the 50s. But, really following the market here, which has been similar. This is not the only stock that is at 52-week lows. And I was looking at some other, I was looking at this fund, ARC-X, which is basically the Cathie Wood Space Fund, which the main stock for that is Trimble, TRMB. And you can see that many stocks at their low of the year. And so the question is, does it just continue to move lower? Which it could. We're still kind of in a downtrend here. And in my mind, we are in a bear market until stuff turns around. And at this point, stuff hasn't turned around. We've rallied a little bit, but we're still in a downtrend here. So we'd have to get through, let's say 12,000 in the NASDAQ, roughly, something like that, before we were actually out of the downtrend here. And you can see the same thing with the E-mini chart here. Yes, we've rallied off the lows, but are we forming a base here, or does it just roll back over and down again? And I think the odds are at the moment that it just rolls back over and down again until we see otherwise. We did have a nice rally 2 days ago on Netflix here, and you can see Netflix chart looking up a little bit. But just really devastating for me in Square. It was a few days ago. I was long something like 500 deltas on this down move here. It was one of these. But fortunately, I did maintain my delta on the way back up, and so things not so bad. At the moment, we are flat delta collecting. It's showing $300 a day in decay, which is a nice chunk of change. Now that's just due to some front week stuff. Yesterday I did actually come in and get short, which is pretty rare for me, especially in this issue, which I've been playing to the long side as of late. But if we look here at yesterday's price action, which is right here, you can see I got short around here, around 55, and down $1.50. I covered and I'm flat here. But you can see just these amazing up and down moves. And if if every time it got to a low, you'd bought, and then every time it got back up to this higher level, you sold, you could have seemed like a layup, right? Of course, trading is never as easy as it appears. But in this case, if you had just said when it got low to a low, oh, it's at a low, let's buy it. And then when it came back to off the lows, you got out of it and got shorted again. You could have made money both ways here. Easy layups here. And the market doesn't usually continue to do stuff. So the question is we're right kind of in the middle here right now. Do we roll lower or do we go higher? And I think the odds are at the moment that we go lower because, as I just said a couple minutes ago, we're in a bear market. But seems you can make money either way on this issue if you just stick either long or short for long enough. It seems to go one way or the other, back and forth. Ultimately, I do believe this will come off the lows and move higher, and that is sort of the long-term setup. I was able to bail out of my longs in the 401k up here around 57 and change, and then I re-upped, so to speak, got long again here yesterday around the level, this 53, 60s, 70s level. So looking for a little pop to then scalp out of that long in the 401ks. But as far as the main options position here, you can see down here short 4 deltas, collecting 300 a day in theta. So really flat right here as we are in the middle of this band. If we do come and take out the all-time or the 52-week low again here, I would look to get long at that level. If we did like roll up to like 60, 62, then I would look to get short and try to play this dynamic, which has been playing out as of late. Now, this dynamic won't continue forever. We will break in one direction or another. But in the meantime, it looks like there's some play here. So that's kind of where I sit with that one. The VIX is staying above 30 here, and I think I'm kind of the belief of many market pundits that are saying, well, we need a VIX to rise to make a sort of a new recent high for that capitulation event. So thus the theory is the market tanks really hard and the VIX pops to a new recent high, and then the market finally starts its recovery. That's kind of the thought here. And you can see it would have to take out this basically a 35 in the VIX to do that. But it could, it could turn out that this 34.53 is the high for now, and that the VIX kind of just fades from here and the market starts to recover from here, which would make it, this low of 10,484 the low of the market in this sell-off, and it just ends up turning out that way, and we move higher from there. It's interesting, Square, if we put Square stock up against the NASDAQ, Square did make a new low. The NASDAQ, when it came off this low here this next day, here's Friday, Sunday, Monday, the NASDAQ did not take out the low. However, Square did take out the low. So if we put Square up next to the market here, and we can do that. We're going to add study, compare with custom symbol Square. We can see here Square made a new low on this day, whereas the NASDAQ didn't. So Square is showing more weakness in the NASDAQ there, and also more weakness in the NASDAQ here. Remember, Square has this component of Bitcoin in it. So if Bitcoin's struggling, then more than the NASDAQ, then you're going to see Square underperform the NASDAQ. And I think you could pick any of a number of different stocks here that are at the 52-week lows, and you would benefit as when and if the market recovers, or I should say when the market recovers. It will recover at some point. You would benefit on any one of those stocks that you picked. I just happened to pick the Square stock. So we'll see where we go from here. I've had a nice couple sessions as far as money making, and hopefully that will continue for us. It's kind of where I am right now. I appreciate you checking in with me, and I will see you in the next video on down the road. Bye now.